Alright, good morning everyone. My name is Brian, and this is Xiao Xiao, John, Tane, and Sherry, and we're going to be talking about Talk Fusion today, and our target market is the Australian market. So our presentation is going to be divided into two parts. The first part being a brief overview of our company and why Australia is a good market for Talk Fusion to enter. And the second part will consist of our proposed market entry plan. So Tane's going to start with the product and services.
Talk Fusion is a rapidly growing company that provides high technology video email services. The company is based in Brandon, Florida, and was started in 2007 by Bob Lehner. And now the eighth largest online video product company in the world. Talk Fusion provides video email, video conferencing, live broadcasting, firewall, video share, video blog, e-subscription form, video autoresponder. Among them, especially video email is great. With this tool, you can send video email to your business and private contacts from a business outlook.
Alright, I'm going to give a bit of an overview on Australia. It is a very well-developed country. The per capita is almost the same as the US, which is around $47,000 per person. It's very advanced in technological infrastructure, programs, and equipment, and that would yield like a 9.6 million active internet users with a 6% growth rate. Cheap and high-speed internet can be found and accessed throughout Australia. Lately, there's been an upward trend in e-commerce usage in business, and e-commerce is basically business transaction through online, and this trend is mostly seen in business such as Australian airlines and banks, and these are industries that we can look into to promote our online product to them. And overall, Australia is very easy to do foreign investment in. It has lenient government policies in foreign trade, and it has low restrictions on advertising and promotion. And overall, the environment is very welcoming for foreign companies. And there's annual trade shows and exhibitions to welcome foreign traders. The economy of Australia, once again, is very well developed. The Australian dollar is not pegged to any bill. It is freely traded. It's fairly a high interest compared to the U.S. dollar, which means it's much more valuable. And it is it's the fifth most traded currency in the world, which means for Talk Fusion we won't run into any currency exchange issues. According to the Global Market Information Database, Australia is ranked 9 out of 10 in easiness of doing business. And what this means is a measure of the time and cost that a business has to put into to start a business and keep it running. And so if it's a high ranking, it means it's very easy and at low cost and less time consuming. And it's ranked 5 out of 7 in competitiveness, which means the market size is fairly medium, so it's not as competitive as many other countries such as China. Next.
Okay, so now I will talk about the impact of the political environment in Australia for Talk Fusion. So there are basically 3 political parties in Australia: the Liberal Party, the National Party, and the Labour Party. So till now, the government has continued the basic foreign policy based on relations with 4 key countries, including the United States. So all 3 parties strongly support United States engagement in this region and encourage foreign investments and trade in order to foster economic development. So this is good for foreign firms like Talk Fusion to establish presence in the country. Also, Australia has a need for national security. It also has sovereignty concerns and restricted markets. So here are 5 sensitive markets in Australia. Among the media and telecommunications, but here the telecommunications I mentioned is more of the TV service provider and the mobile provider. But since Talk Fusion is an online internet communication provider, so it is not related to any of these 5 sensitive markets that I mentioned here. So it won't be influenced by the government restriction. Next. Also, we have to notice that Australia is not a very high political risk country. According to the Corruption Perception Index of 2010, Australia scored 8.9 out of 10, so 10 being the completely and free corruption. So from this, we can know that Australia is a very trustworthy country, and also it has the law enforcement system to ensure all business transactions.
Yeah, cultural environment. According to the Hofstede's cultural dimensions, Australians' individualism is pretty high, just like Americans do, and just like the most countries do. But especially in Australia, if you're late for a meeting, they will look at the person as unreliable person or careless in business dealings. The structure in Australian business is very flat. It means that they do not emphasize on the hierarchy or ranking at the company, so they just more tend to call their first names on daily basis.
Okay. And I'm going to conclude the first part of our presentation with a brief discussion about Talk Fusion's major competitors. So given that Talk Fusion is an internet telecommunications provider, we believe that all of its competitors should be considered global competitors, just given how easy it is to access the internet. So we've highlighted four major competitors of Talk Fusion to include Skype, Google, WebEx, and GoToMeeting. So I'll start first with Skype and Google. These two companies, their major comparative advantage over Talk Fusion is that their products are free. Gmail, most of us know, it's one of the largest email service providers. It's recently also integrated video chat and also Google Chat, so essentially instant messaging as a part of its email platform. And Skype, I use it a lot as well for instant messaging, video calls back home, or even Skype to Skype calls through the internet on the computer. Just so one thing that Talk Fusion should be wary of is Google is often noted as being the largest email service provider in the world with the most active accounts. So what happens when Google decides to implement video emails, which is the major core product of Talk Fusion? What happens when Google decides to implement video emails as a part of its Gmail platform? And the other two companies, WebEx and GoToMeeting, have a more similar business structure as Talk Fusion. Both these companies are more catered to businesses, focusing on live conferences or marketing conferences. However, Talk Fusion, the advantage of Talk Fusion is that it allows unlimited participants per meeting, whereas WebEx and GoToMeeting have a cap on how many participants can participate or watch a conference. With Talk Fusion, you can also customize your logo. So if I'm a marketer for KFC, I can customize a video email or my conference to include KFC's logos. Also, Talk Fusion allows you to record your conferences for future use, in that sense that you can, you can play it for other, audiences or target consumers. And most importantly, Talk Fusion is cheaper on a monthly and annually basis.
Alright, now we're going to suggest a marketing entry plan for Talk Fusion. There are 3 options for entry strategy. There's the local office, which is like the greenfield. There's joint venture, and there's merge or acquisition. Of all 3 options, we thought local office would be the best for Talk Fusion to go in. Because both sides of the government suggest that a local presence is important to do business in Australia, and a local office is relatively low cost, because in the beginning we're only planning maybe 2 managers to oversee the distribution system. Also, a local office allows full control of the business, and they can always use the International Trade Organization for local market research.
Okay, target market. There are two major target markets in Australia. One of them is business corporations. There are about over 2 million business corporations are registered in Australia, and they get the geographical benefit of Australia makes internet communication necessary. And there are personal users too. They get more higher wages compared to US. As you can see, they get $14 compared to the $10 in the United States. That means Australia has more purchasing power and standard of living than US. And Australia's vast geography makes internet communication necessary.
The pricing of the product would, well, we will not take in consideration of the Google and Skype because they, overall their products are more basic service compared to TalkFusion. So to obtain a higher percentage of the market share, we would price our product the same or below than our main competitors, GoToMeeting and WebEx.
In terms of the product and service adaptation, our primary strategy is to standardize TalkFusion's products. Given that Australia is highly similar to the United States in terms of its language, legal framework, economy, etc., we think it would be the best way for TalkFusion to minimize its cost. In terms of its logo, we also plan to retain the same logo. There are no specific taboos, color taboos, or certain words that are, I guess, poorly received by the Australian people. So that would also help TalkFusion elevate its brand name globally. But thirdly, we do want to adapt, make an adaptation to its products that it's currently offered for the following reasons. So according to the Central Intelligence Agency, there are approximately 16 million internet users in Australia compared to the 245 million internet users in the United States. So given that TalkFusion is equally received in both these markets, say 1% of Australian users use it and 1% of American users use TalkFusion, that's a much smaller amount in the Australian market. So with that said, we would like to introduce the 4 products that are stronger, as you can see from here. The first 4 products are what we believe are stronger TalkFusion products.
Okay, so it is better to TalkFusion to distribute its product in a standardized way for the Australian market because it is more simple and also it will save extra money and resources. Also, it's easy for the TalkFusion firm to control and at the same time gives TalkFusion a more recognizable brand image. So what's more, TalkFusion uses internet as the primary method of distribution. It does not need to transport its products from manufacturing locations to its consumers, and it also has today's most effective form of distribution, which we call a person-to-person marketing, shows here. So this means that individuals can sell TalkFusion products to his or her friends, and by doing this, individuals will get money as reward. So with this distribution system, individuals will be able to share the benefits of TalkFusion's products and also the business opportunity with others and be rewarded for doing so. So it gives consumers a big incentive to spend or invest their money and further endorse and distribute TalkFusion's product.
Advertising and networking are best way for promoting TalkFusion into the Australian market. TalkFusion should use advertising through marketing magazines, newspaper, internet advertise, emails. According to the TalkFusionBusiness.com, using email is more effective than others. Australia has 80% response to video email. Also, TalkFusion should use networking through international business organizations such as Chamber of Commerce and Austrade.
And by Chambers of Commerce and Austrade, these are like trade organizations that have businesses that will probably be interested in TalkFusion's products, so they're potential clients in networking with these organizations. In conclusion, we believe that TalkFusion should do a little more research before going right into the market, because we believe that they first should purchase a contact list of top 1,000 firms in Australia and look them over as potential clients and see how they react to their product. And another way to test the market is to give trials and get feedbacks from like 5 firms from Australia and see how they would like their products.
And as a final wrap up, we believe that Top Fusion should enter Australia with the following marketing mix. With a local office to start with, to just introduce the first 4 stronger of its 8 products, distribute by person-to-person marketing, price its products equal to or below WebEx and GoToMeeting, the 2 major competitors, and also promote through advertisement and networking.
Okay, thank you very much. We have time for a couple questions from the audience. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Shoot. Who is the VC for this group? Yeah, Halak, do you have a question?
In the beginning of the case, when I read it, I saw that you guys were talking about the Chinese market and how you were trying to penetrate this market. So my first question was, how does the Chinese market differ so much from the U.S. market, and what kind of primary adaptations would you think will be necessary in order to be able to penetrate this market?
Well, our project wasn't on penetrating the Chinese market. However, we obtained that information with one of the Talk Fusion managers. So they're the one who told us they're looking into that, and so their first step was building a Chinese platform so that like the whole video chat platform is in like written and like showing Chinese. So that would be like the first step to adapting their product to the Chinese market.
And to add to that, I guess, for example, China, the primary language is Chinese, obviously. Australia is English. That already is a major barrier in terms of Talk Fusion, how they would adapt for the Chinese market. They would have to create a new platform that is catered towards Chinese audience. Like, do most people in China, are they able to read English? So in that sense, like, that would also be a major barrier. And that's just something that we incorporated in our marketing plan as well, just so people are aware of it as well.
You said, like at the beginning, you said that Talk Fusion was a rapidly growing company that provided cutting-edge video communications through the internet. And you also mentioned the political environment, that telecommunications was one of the sensitive areas that the government had control over. So to what extent, if any, do you think this greater control over the sensitive area of telecommunication will affect Talk Fusion international operations into Australia?
So as I mentioned before, and we did kind of research on it, we know that the telecommunication mentioned by the Australian government is that it's only related to the TV service providers and also mobile providers such as Verizon. So we know that Talk Fusion is an online internet communication. It's like a platform provider. So it's not related to any of we mentioned the sensitive markets in Australia. So we still can enter the Australian markets. That's it.
Last question? Last question? I know you.
Okay. There's like a rumor around the world through blogs on the internet that says that Talk Fusion's products do not do what they actually supposed to do. So how will you tap into this rumor once you enter to Australia? And are you planning on giving a free trial for your customers?
We are aware of a lot of the negative images that is perceived by a lot of the consumers worldwide. So with that said, with our marketing entry proposal, we're suggesting to offer only the 4 of its 8 stronger products. We were actually able to test those products out through Kay Flag. She's a marketer for the Australian market for Talk Fusion. So she gave us access, temporary access to test out the products. So from our experience, we believe those 4 products that we mentioned in the PowerPoint are the stronger products. So with that said, I do believe that a lot of the revenue generated has to be put back into research and development into the other 4 products, how to improve those products so that, the Talk Fusion is providing the services that they claim to provide.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. That's fine.
And Talk Fusion has lots of function, much better than others. For example, when you use Talk Fusion's video conference, you can make a room more than 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So
apparently they had like a corporate conference call of like 8,000 people or so. it's like almost like a live broadcast, like a TV show. Yeah.
And I think I can understand why there's rumors around. It's just like you just buy a MacBook while using PC for like 8 years. So on we've tried Talk Fusion and it's very complicated, but it's just like MacBook, you know, it's very.
You need to adapt to it.
Yeah, you need to adapt to it. But once you adapt to it, you feel like, wow, it's a revolution for the telecommunication. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.